What is meditation? Now, I know everybody coming into this course is going to have a sort of preloaded definition. So what I want to do right off the bat is have you pause the video, get out a piece of paper, and write down your definition of what meditation is. You can be as descriptive as you like, not only just like about the process or the practice, but what does it look and feel like? And then I want you to come back to the video with that definition. All right, so what does your meditation definition or practice look like? Well, for most, it's going to look like, eyes closed, legs crossed, trying to quiet thoughts. Some of us might even have the idea of this mythic monk in orange robes sitting on a mountain, and this general sense of like peace, tranquility, and relaxation. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say none of these are wrong, but none of them are necessarily right. In fact, meditation is much simpler than most of the dressings that we put on it. As humans, we like to decorate things, and that's fine and dandy, but for the purposes of this course, I would like to speak to what meditation is at its core. Now, to be as simple as possible, I'd like to say that meditation is an invitation to practice presence, or an invitation to come back home to the present moment. Our lives in this modern world are so full of hustle and bustle, frustration and anger and guilt and shame about the past, and just this ridiculous sense of worry about the future that we almost never appreciate what is right in front of us. One of the reasons that our world has become the way that it is because we have lost a sense of practice in the present moment. Now, I appreciate that today, particularly in social media or the media in general, meditation has become a lot more popular. Even though this practice is very ancient and transcends all cultural barriers, it has become popular now because we have forgotten about the present moment and the gift that it presents us. In fact, I like to think of meditation as a calling home. We all kind of feel sick, like we don't belong somewhere in this world, that we feel like outsiders. It's because we have stopped living in our home, in our temple, the body. And meditation provides us an avenue with which to access that feeling that we've been missing. It's an antidote to many of the chronic stressors that we face in life. I like to think of it as a path and not a goal. In fact, one of the greatest meditation masters states that the path is the goal, and the goal is the path. Now, I don't want to give you a whole bunch of mind-bendy mind teasers to start out, but it illustrates beautifully exactly what meditation is. We're not trying to get anywhere. In fact, it is all about the path that we're walking. Just like the present moment is always one stream of being. That is our path. There is no goal. We never get to the future. We're always fixed in the present. So when we think about meditation, we have to think about it as a path, a journey. There is no goal that we're trying to get to. Although there are some goals that we might meet along the way, there is no fixed ultimate goal. In fact, so many people misunderstand the process of meditation with the idea that eventually we will reach enlightenment. And then what? We'll be done, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case, and that's not what we're going to be looking for in this course. In fact, our goal is to remain fixed on the path, to continually come back to our practice in the present moment. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about some of the 3 different ways that we can look at meditation today. I'm going to take this from a more secular approach so that we don't put a lot of the window dressing of the spiritual or the religious on it, because I can appreciate not everybody's here for that. Now, what are the 3 ways that we can look at meditation? Number 1 is the medical model. The medical model is where we're looking at techniques that can reduce our stressors and help us with physical and mental deficits that we're facing in life. See, meditation has a great many benefits. In fact, it can relax us to the point where we start to eliminate inflammation. We can reduce blood pressure. We can help with insomnia and chronic pain and other chronic illnesses just by returning to our breathing. That's the medical model, in short. There's much more that we can unpack, but this is an introductory course. The second is the Marshall model. This is the more performance-based model. This is where we're talking about, CEOs and high-performance athletes like LeBron James, who's advertising like for Calm, the Calm app. Meditation can help us by helping us fine-tune the mind, giving us a laser-like focus, because one of the primary techniques is fixed attention. What fixed attention can give us is the ability to quiet all of the things going on that kind of stress us out and then make us less effective in life. This Marshall model is one way that we can look at meditation to allow us the benefit of a focus so that we can get things done in an orderly manner. And the third model is the spiritual model, where we're trying to implement a sort of connection, whether that be with ourselves, with the people around us, our loved ones, with the natural world, or with the universe itself. The spiritual model is basically a call to divine connection of some kind, some sort of connection. Now, these three models are some of the ways that we'll look at the practice of meditation. But I want to talk about it in a little bit more of a deeply esoteric manner. Meditation is not only this invitation to the present moment, but it is a return to our sacred center. No matter how we squash it, human beings have pretty much for all time had this strange calling to something that we cannot quite explain. And however you define that is up to you. But I'm pretty sure most people have felt it in one way or another, and I appreciate if you haven't. We might get there in this course. But meditation at its core, for me, has been a return to my sacred center, an ability to develop a relationship with myself that was healthier than I had ever had before, and has provided me with enough insight to create a life that's worth living. Now, before we get too deep into that rabbit hole, I want to talk about what we're going to be looking at first, which is the process of metacognition. And that's what we'll talk about in the next video. But what is metacognition really quickly? It's this process that we're going to go through first, where we start to understand and analyze how our mind is structured. We need to analyze the thoughts, the feelings, and all the things that make up the structure of our mind so that we can start to process them in an appropriate manner and then eventually detach from them. This is going to be one of the fun parts of the course, and without further ado, let's get over to metacognition.